and welcome back to Football Made Simple. So far in the 2020-2021 season, Carlo Ancelotti's Everton have been the outstanding team in the Premier League. Topping the table with 4 wins out of 4, being joint top scorers and one of the better defensive records in the league, they have looked formidable opposition. But what tactics exactly have led to these successes? Let's take a look. Well, the first thing is that Everton appear to have operated intelligently in the transfer market. They brought in Allen from Napoli for £21 million, Doucouré and Ben Godfrey for similar prices, but perhaps the marquee signing and an early contender for best value signing of the season is James Rodriguez on a free transfer. All of this means that Ancelotti has been able to shift away from the 4-4-2 he used for the majority of last season to a more consistent system that suits his side. As you can see on the OneFootball app, today's video sponsor, whose app you can download for free through the link in the description below, in their 4 league matches they have used a 4-3-3 each time. In fact, the only difference has been that against Brighton and Hove Albion, Tom Davies came in for Allen and Sigurdsson was in for Andre Gomes. So this consistency of personnel and formation has allowed their team to gel their new signings quickly. But let's dig deeper into the tactics and the patterns of play they use. The first major change we've seen from Everton is in their BuildUp Patterns. Last season, playing with a front 2 of Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, 2 aerially capable forwards, they were much more dependent on direct play, often going long, looking to find them early. Things have changed this season. Calvert-Lewin still operates up top and is capable of being a target man, but Ancelotti has made them much less dependent on him and the long ball, and instead they look for shorter passes out into the defense. This also shows in Calvert-Lewin's stats, as he takes significantly fewer touches per game, and is the target of passes significantly less often, falling from 48 times per game to 35.5, as the team are less dependent on him as an outlet. So when Everton do build up, their shape can vary. When playing against teams who apply much less pressure, Allen is happy to function as the single pivot, roaming around this area looking to get on the ball, whilst the fullbacks move higher up the pitch to be play-out options or options for Allen's first-time pass if he's under pressure. In these scenarios, Doucouré and Gomes will drift higher up the pitch, trying to force the opposition midfield much deeper, and in turn giving Allen more space in this region, whilst James stays out wide. And Allen is happy to utilize this space, moving the ball around the pitch quickly with short, simple passes as men higher up the pitch get into position. However, at times, teams try to sit on Allen to prevent him from playing his natural game. The Everton shape fluidly adapts, and usually it is Andre Gomes who will drop deeper to form a double pivot with him to provide a secondary outlet and the numerical advantage here, as he is similar in many ways with Allen, being happy to sit deep and dictate play. Doucouré, of the 3 midfielders, is the most attack-minded, willing to push high up into the attacking midfield role in these situations, as he likes to play a more box-to-box role. This simultaneously allows James to stay out wide on the flanks. But if the opposition pressure comes higher up the pitch on the centre-backs, we can see Allen drop into the back line to form a back 3, which then allows Everton's attacking fullbacks higher up the pitch. Doucouré and Allen would then push deeper to form the double pivot, and James can drift into the attacking midfield role, giving Seamus Coleman even more space to overlap. This also leaves the opposition midfield in 2 minds. Pressing with 2 men up top often means a midfielder joining the forward, so there would now be 3 versus 2 down in the midfield. If they stay deep, then Everton can break the press easily into their double pivots. Alternatively, if they try to push high, James Rodriguez is now in acres of space between the lines, and if he is found, that can be deadly. We have at times seen teams like Mourinho's Spurs try to push a winger in on the press instead, and of course this frees the Everton fullbacks instead, who are both instrumental to the build-up, as they attempt higher risk passes to get the ball up the pitch. In fact, Digne attempts the most progressive passes in the team, and Coleman attempts more progressive passes than any of the default midfield 3. And higher up the pitch, Everton are just as well drilled. On the right hand side, the wide triangle of James, Coleman and Doucouré is key and flexible. We do at times see James stay wide as a more traditional winger, with Doucouré providing the central option. But as Ancelotti himself said, James is not a right winger, but can come in instead. So primarily we see James drift infield into the half space as much as possible. looking to drag a man in and open up the pitch on his left foot. This naturally opens up space on the right, which Everton can attack in different ways. Doucouré is very adaptable and can push into this wide region, with Coleman looking to invert. But the most common pattern is with Doucouré holding and Coleman overlapping. James can look to slip him in for the cross. But he can also swing in the cross himself to the far post for Calvert-Lewin and the inverting Richarlison to look to attack. But this shape facilitates a more common pattern of play for Everton, which is to build up on the right and attack down the left. So Everton in this position will naturally drag across the opposition, and Richarlison can tuck in central, as discussed, to potentially attack across, which also drags in a fullback, although Richarlison can stay wide when needed. This then opens up space for the highly attacking Digne to attack, and he loves to get into this zone and then look for the cross, which he does often, attempting a comfortably team-high 8 crosses per game. And James is always sure to attack the back post in these phases, ghosting in to finish, as he did twice against Brighton. But James often comes in central early, so Everton have a midfield diamond in effect, and Richarlison coming in central means that the shape looks like a traditional 4-4-2 diamond at times. And this allows Coleman and Digne to flood forward, knowing that the 3 central midfielders are conservative and therefore able to cover. This in many ways is shades of Liverpool, with a fairly defensive midfield allowing the fullbacks to thrive. But all 3 central midfielders are also conservative passers, not attempting anything too risky, so it is key for James to drop in to receive the ball and expand the play. In fact, he comfortably makes more progressive passes into the final third and into the box than any of the Everton midfield. You'll notice that Calvert-Lewin was barely mentioned, and that's because he's less involved in the play than ever. As Ancelotti said, he's more focused on the box, he spends more time there. When you play with one forward, he has to do that. So his main role is to get on the end of crosses when they're flung in from out wide. Another major weapon for Everton is set pieces. This is a simple combination of physically and aerially dominant players like Mina, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Keane and more, and having outstanding left-footed delivery from Digne or James, while Sigurdsson when on the pitch does a similar job with his right. And defensively speaking, Everton have also been solid, conceding 5 primarily due to Pickford being questionable. In reality, they have the lowest expected goals against. When they lose the ball high up the pitch, due to the fullbacks being so high up, they try to counterpress initially in the wide areas to win the ball back. But the most key element in truth is the ability of Doucouré and Gomez to maintain their positions and move across to cut out any counterattacks before they begin. After a strong start, many Everton fans will be dreaming of securing a place in European competition at the very least. But how high up do you think they'll finish? Drop it down below. I hope you enjoyed the video, leave a like if you did. And if you want early access to more videos, as well as exclusive videos, whilst helping to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon at patreon.com/footballmadesimple. And a big shout out to everyone currently supporting there, like Mark Dama, Yan Oku, Abdullah Al-Abdul Karim, Al-J Lee, and Nader for recently joining the Ultra tier. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.